Hey there, good morning and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. Sorry, my glasses are crooked. I see that. Anyways, we're back here on day 10 of our series for the month of July called Those Great Bands with Two or More Lead Vocalists. In the case of the band today, and I hope my shirt's not giving it away, but it probably is. There are 4 of them singing in this band. So what we're trying to do is we take a band with 2 or more lead vocalists who contribute to the band's success and who I happen to enjoy quite a bit. And they all, for this month, we just want to give that kind of attention to those bands with those multiple vocalists that aren't not just having one singer, or they're not just about the harmonies, they're about the lead vocals as well. So without further ado, we're going to get down to the band we're talking about today, and it should come as no surprise that we're talking about these guys, the Beatles. Now I know some of you are going to say, well, the Beatles are already up, like it's the 10th and they're not higher up. Yeah, I love the Beatles. I do. I think they're a great band. I really love John and George's voices quite a bit. Not as big on the other two, but I do love the voices quite a bit. However, there's other bands who I just enjoy more. And some bands, there's not much difference really between what's going on here with these guys and what's going on with the number 2 and 3 and so on, Those are the bands that I happen to enjoy the most. Everybody's different. Everybody hears things differently. I didn't actually grow up with the Beatles. I was past that time period when the Beatles were already done when I was like 6. So I didn't really get into the Beatles till late in my teens and almost into my 20s before I really started listening to them. So I don't have that thing that usually happens when you have your favorite bands. You grow up with them. You're listening to them as they're happening. That's generally what happens with most people when they get into music and into bands. I didn't have that experience with the Beatles, but I do appreciate them quite a bit. So, the Beatles had 4 singers, as everybody knows. Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison. So, Paul had that kind of, a little bit of a muffled voice, a very British sounding muffled voice. I call it muffled because it sounds like he was holding something back all the time, but he did like some of the biggest songs in their history. On this particular track, he's got Let It Be on here, but he also sang Hey Jude, like all of those big kind of known songs like that. Then you have John Lennon, the other half of the tag team for writing. He had a very distinctive voice, almost nasally in sound, but I think he had the most distinctive voice of the 4. Sang almost a half or more of the tracks. Lots of stuff. Long and Wide. No, that's Paul McCartney. I'm trying to see if I can find one on here. Across the Universe, which is probably one of my favorites. It's his vocals on that. He's a fantastic singer. I like his voice a lot. Then we get George Harrison, who's probably my favorite Beatle and probably my favorite singer in the group. Here Comes the Sun, of course, a great tune by him. His voice is kind of similar to John's, but not nearly as nasally, more mainstream sounding. So yeah, very apropos, great singer. And they all did those great harmony duets too, those vocals, especially early on in their career when they had all of the poppy stuff that they did, the duet kind of Everly Brother type vocals on. Really good. And then of course you have a Ringo Starr at the bottom here next to my finger, the drummer for the band. Very good at keeping timely rhythms, but he did a few songs, Yellow Submarine, I can't remember the other one. It was here in my head, disappeared, but His voice is very mainstream sounding, a bit of a monotone voice, but it's distinctive because you can't really confuse it with the other ones as well. So all four singing, I think a lot of bands emulated their vocal styles. A lot of bands try to put together that four-piece with a rhythm guitarist, the lead guitarist, the drummer, and a vocal and a bass player, and then all four of them trying to sing. A lot of bands wanted to. Kiss was a band that tried to emulate that formula. Lots of bands tried to emulate that formula because it was so successful. Why wouldn't you, right? But today we have the Beatles, one of the great rock bands in history, with all four members singing and contributing to the band. And I hope you like this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. Make any comments about the Beatles or anything down below in the comment section. And we'll be back on day 9 tomorrow with another fantastic rock band with those two or more great lead vocals. So take care, and we will see you then. Bye.